Happy Mother's Day to all the real strong women out there who put their entire lives on the line, their sanity, their time, their energy into being a good mother. You don't know how much that means to your children. Thank you so much to my own mother and all the women in my family who are raising children. We all know what the trauma bond's like. We know what it's like to leave somebody who has manipulated us, who's used our traumas, created new traumas and triggers to keep us tied in to an unhealthy relationship, especially if you have had kids with a hoovering hobgoblin who doesn't care about those kids, doesn't care about you, wants to pass on their pain, looks at everyone as an object. And the fight that it takes to break away from such a person, especially if they chase you down, they stalk your social, they make threats, they try and corner you in. If they continually try to devalue you, then come back and love bomb you, create confusion. They want to destroy your identity. It is the hardest damn thing for someone to break away from that, man or woman. Today I'm going to concentrate on my sisters. I'm going to tell you a story about a woman who was damaged, drug addict, damaged from her childhood, was hypersexualized during her teenage years, passed around to adults, and became perpetually stuck at the age of 15. Never truly understood her own value. She was a lot of fun. She was pretty. Whenever you hung out with this woman, it was a fun time. She was damaged, and she was a liar. She had to escape reality, so she learned to lie constantly, and also fall in with men who were like her dad, who were like the other men in her early life, who were all criminals and never took accountability for their actions. They were con artists, and so she took those traits on. She eventually had kids, but she couldn't stop being perpetually 15. And so her example to those children were on and off. Sometimes she put more energy into other men's kids, men who were manipulators, than she did her own children. Even at one time, forgetting her own son was in a house full of other people's kids for an entire weekend. Now, this woman did have psychological illnesses. She had personality disorders. But deep down underneath, there was always a part of her that wanted to do better and be better, something that was never fostered. Because every time that she encountered someone who was healthy, someone who could help her in a better direction, who had the keys to a better future, she would always hurt that person because she only understood that abuse was love. And so she would hurt that person who was trying to show her true love. And she would go to, cheat with, be around a narcissistic or toxic personality. She's a very strange woman. She could actually break narcissists, but she kept running in those cycles, bringing her kids around those cycles, constantly into environments of abuse because she was damaged. And so she thought that she could love the damage out of narcissistic men. But that wasn't the case. You can't teach love to somebody who doesn't understand what love is. And because of the way that she was brought up, she didn't understand what actually love was. She thought it was abuse. She thought love was cheating and triangulation and lying and conning. She thought love was abuse, being hit, being left in bed, being treated like she wasn't worth anything. And unfortunately, she passed this on to her kids. She would bring them into toxic environments, show them that loving and conning and manipulation was the way to live. So these children are growing up without any idea of what real love is, what real motherhood is. They have no proper, stable matriarch to look up to. The fathers of both their kids, narcissistic or liars, people with personality disorders. Time and time again, she kept falling in with men who were abusive because she thought that being used was love. She went down so far as to accept being the girlfriend for married men, being a girlfriend to men who were narcissists themselves and would use her, would hit her, had other girlfriends. She fell for the lies and the bullshit. She fell for all the toxicity because that's how she had been raised. That's what she understood as love. Deep down underneath it all, though, she understood that all this was wrong. And it created a cycle of self-loathing and self-hatred. And she could not escape it. Even when she was given the information, when her intuition would tell her, there were breaks in which she understood that the path she was going down was wrong, that she was not being a good mother. But she could not accept, or she could not make the efforts to change. She couldn't take step 2 or step 3. She couldn't continue to heal herself because her damage overruled anything good inside of her. And this eventually led to a full-blown personality disorder in which she began to and had been protecting the liars and the abusers in her life, to the point where these narcissistic men would point the finger at other healthy men or healthy support systems and would, point the finger and project their own ills onto them. Well, that person's lying. That person's a manipulator. That person's trying to hurt you. We all know the narcissistic routine by this point, those of us that have been through it. Never taking accountability. It's always somebody else's fault. Most especially if you threaten their fake world, their false worldview. If you hold them accountable for their actions. If you point out the reality of a situation. When she got to a point where she trusted these abusers so much that she began to just take on their traits. And this was by being around them so much, by adapting to their culture, by trading sexual energies with them. You become whom you surround yourself with. You are whom you surround yourself with. It eventually got to a point where the boyfriends that she had gotten with became worse and worse and worse, until she got with one that was a literal semantic, grown toddler, someone who did not value himself. At one point, after years of this, after years of triangulating, this chick was being triangulated with other women. Then they would both of these people would punish the women that he cheated on her with. And then she began to cheat on him. And then they would both get together and punish the person that she cheated on him with. After years of this, got to a point where STDs started getting involved. But you can't sleep around with so many people. You can't keep cheating. You can't live in that thrill and not catch STDs. So he ended up catching gonorrhea and then gave it to her. Once she got burnt with gonorrhea, it was another moment in her life when she really looked at herself and tried to change or wanted to change and get away from this toxic abuse cycle that she had kept herself locked in. Unfortunately, the culture of her personality had become so distorted. She hadn't gone to therapy. She hadn't taken anyone's good advice. She hadn't taken advantage of any of the healthy men who would come through her life and wanted to help her, wanted to help her heal or be there as a positive support system. So being stuck in this routine, stuck as perpetually 15, she eventually went back to one of the men that had been in her life who had always been a healthy support system, but would also been somebody that she had triangulated several times, literally punished this good man. She brought this semantic narcissist to this guy's house because the man that she had gone to for a healthy support system had had enough, had said no more, had been like, maybe we shouldn't talk, maybe you should walk away. So she, in some crazy batshit personality disorder driven idea, thought that it would be a great idea to bring this semantic narcissist to this guy's house. And what happened was she was looking for a fight. She was looking for someone to win, someone to fight for her heart, someone to fight for her future, someone to do the fighting for her. Or, in some crazy possibility, for them all to be friends. She couldn't think right. She's a teenager. Well, the healthy guy beat the living shit out of this narcissist, embarrassed him, clowned him. And as soon as the narcissist got back up from the ground, the first thing the narcissist boyfriend did was start telling lies. Got he got sucker punched, he got jumped. It wasn't his fault. He began to beat this woman's ass before and after he got his ass whipped. And this woman actually proclaimed to love him, yelling in the middle of the street after getting up off the pavement, blood on her face, that she loved him. This man who was beating her ass, who gave her gonorrhea, who cheats on her constantly, who destroys her car windshields and destroys her cars, who chases her and doxes her, who she had to run away to shelters to several times and other people's houses to, because she never took the time to fix herself. This is a woman that has destroyed life after life after life, and to the point where whatever personality disorder she had become full-blown because she refused to fix herself. And she's got this little girl, this daughter, that she takes around with her on all these hiatuses and all these toxic environments, and most especially this last one, without any care to the damage that she is causing this girl, because she's perpetually 15. Because she never faced her traumas, never faced her damage, never became a woman. Because she never took the opportunities that life gave her to help her grow, to become a better person. And instead of doing that, she became a full-blown liar who absolutely believes that abuse is love. That believes that being hit and triangulated and taking revenge on other people that she's cheated on, or that a narcissist she's with has cheated on with her with, that's the way to live, that's a healthy environment, that's going to create positivity and growth. Because she never did the hard work. It was all words and no actions. And her children are suffering for it. Brothers and sisters, it's hard as hell to break the trauma bond. It's hard as hell to overcome your past traumas, childhood traumas, things that have really affected us, given us PTSD or CPTSD. It is so very difficult to fight to be a better version of yourself sometimes, depending on how much you've been through, man or woman. But to my sisters out there today, for those of you who took the time, who fought, who did all you could to better yourself, who took the advantages that life gave you, whether it was friends or a boyfriend or a husband, whatever man in your life helped you to get over those daddy issues, helped you to get over those childhood issues. For those of you that fought those nights, fought your impulses, fought your addictions, fought your damages, and kept pushing forward, whether it came from a parent, wherever it was in your life, my love to you. Not only did you help to save your own life, help to save yourself and become a better person. If you're a mother, you help to protect your children by sacrificing and doing the absolute hardest work you possibly had to, so that you could properly show your children love, keep them out of abusive or toxic environments, give them a better chance than you had, because we do not pass on pain. I can't tell you how much that's going to mean to the next generation after you. So be proud of yourself. Absolutely love yourself. Because you did the hard work that some women will never do. You did the hard work that some victims will refuse to do, and continue to fall into cycles of self-defeat and toxicity, and then blame other people and never take any accountability, and then pass that damage on to the next generation. And you refuse to do that. You did the hard work. I'm proud of you. My love to y'all. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And never again suffer that fool. Run.